Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Siki Iki, Mr. Gaming Counselor, doing a Tuesday video for you. I figured, why not? I just did my review, my brutally honest review for episode Echoes, episode 1, and you guys have received it really well. Now, I said in my review that I was just going to do a video reviewing the weapons, like giving my thoughts, and here we are. We're just going to rank them, right? And I'm not including Season of the Dawn weapons because they're just being brought back. I'm going to focus on the new weapons specifically, and these are all craftable. So I want to give a brutally honest thought on all these. I'm going to categorize them by what I think, whether they're good, whether I think they could be replaced, whether they're perk combinations. I am not looking at this from a new player perspective, because from a new player perspective, every gun's a good gun. Like if a player shows up, they're going to think all these are the bee's knees. So from someone who has way too many guns and has almost every crafted gun in the game, I'm going to get it from that perspective. Okay. So if someone's like, man, I'm a new player and I love these weapons, I'm sorry, your opinion doesn't matter to me. Everything looks like gold when I have a mountain of treasure over here and you have a pocket full of coins and you're like, this is great. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm putting it in perspective so you understand. So if I dog something you really like, just know there's a reason for it. All right. I am also going to be checking out like the roles as we rank them. So let's start off with what I think a lot of people were really interested in, is this gun called Lost Signal. It is the first aerial denial frame. Is the first one we've ever had. It has an interesting choice. I mean, obviously it has the old reliable auto loading holster, which I think personally I enjoy. It also has lead from gold, which is a fantastic set, and anything with ammo wise, special ammo wise. I think strats for all is not bad, especially since you are wanting to hit multiple targets. I did not care for reverberation. I thought it was mid. My personal go-to pick is one for all. One for all, either auto loading or one for all, lead from gold or stats for all. Just because you're increasing damage, and the whole point of this thing is to do damage, to kill trash ads. You're wanting to lock things down. And so if you're hitting a large group, then one for all should always be procced, and that's 35% increased damage if you hit other targets, which should be given. I think it's all right. And I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm going to put this as B. Here's why. Yes, it's a legendary version of Witherhoard, but I think Witherhoard is still better. It does have a cool origin perk, which I don't know if it even says it here. Yeah, here it is. Rapid final blows cause target to explode into a pool of radiolarian fluid, which is great. In general play, like the general content, this is probably amazing, but so is every other gun in the game. Would I take this into Grandmasters? No. Would I take this into raids? Ace raids, maybe, but honestly, I would rather use a sidearm rocket for the special. Like, the call is fantastic. You can run double sidearms with the call and insert whatever rocket sidearm you want to put in that place. I think it's very niche. I'm not impressed. It's not bad, but it's not the best. I would rather you just use Witherhoard. I would hope, and maybe in the future, they give it like a stasis perk that's based on damage versus like headstone or chill. Like chill clip would have been really cool on this thing. Just imagine tick damage freezing all targets. Like, that's what really would have made this pop off, is if it had chill clip. But to me, and here's the thing, this is called an area denial frame. Unless you're immediately killing things, you're not denying anything. And that's what I say with chill clip. Chill clip would go into the fantasy of denying, like locking down an area. I'm just saying. So I think it's a B. Moving on to sidearm. the regular sidearm. This sidearm sightline survey. I forgot. It's the hand cannon that is just, it's pretty bad. So we have posterity from Deep Stone Crypt. It gets jolt shot just like this sightline does. It also gets, I think, frenzy. This does not have any other damaging perks. The only thing I can think of that I would care about is maybe triple tap or keep away. And the reason why is you want synergy for volt shot. You want to be able to reload faster. Now you could also do enlighten action, which improves handling and reload. The reason I like keep away is because you get reload, range, and accuracy, which I don't tend to use hand cannons and barrel stuff people with them. So in my personal opinion, I like this better than enlighten action. And it's always active. Like if you are literally just, you get plus 10 range, plus 15 meter like plus 30 reload, and like I guess 5% cone growth. Like it's just free. However, posterity is just significantly better. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong screens and everything. Videos for another time. I'm gonna have to say I'm putting it in D tier. Like this is our legit first D tier. There's first off, it's 180, so it's not a must-have. And posterity exists, and I do have it, and they're both craftable, and they're both art. Yes, this one has an interesting origin perk, but it's not enough to save the gun. I'm sorry. Frenzy and posterity, and it's a raid, and just a raid weapon. It just double damage is better than one singular damage, in my opinion. Especially for 180s, they struggle. Period. All right, let's talk about Ill Omens, the sword. Now, when I first saw this, I thought this is garbage. And I still think that's the case. However, they did buff caster frames. And this is the third sword to have cold steel. And it can also get relentless strikes, which is meh, it's whatever. What really is interesting to me is you can have duelist trance, final blows. You can also do relentless, but honestly, the reason to use caster frames is now to cast them. Like it is beneficial to do damage with the caster. So cold steel is just to make, I would not give a crap about anything else. You're looking at this strictly for what it brings to the table. This is the first ever craftable stasis sword, and it's a caster frame. It has utility against champions, so you can actually throw this across the map. I would honestly, even attrition orbs, but I don't know, like none of these perks really stand out. No, really none of them do. You could do Tyrus Blade, kill trash ads, but really the utility is cold steel for me. And because of cold steel and the fact that it's the first ever craftable stasis sword, it does fit a niche. I'm gonna give it a C. I don't think it's the best sword. I wouldn't use it over maybe the slammer, even though it probably does a little bit more damage. But overall, there are better swords in the game than this one. And even with cold steel, like cold steel is very niche. And most of the time, I'm not running in GMs with a sword. Maybe for Sword Week, I could, because Infinite Sword, go Mimi. But from a GM to GM, 9 out of 10 times, I'm using an LMG for ad clear and boss chip damage. And like I said, we have a lot of good swords, and that some are craftable. It has a lot of competition, but it's worth grabbing it for the fact that it's a stasis craftable with cold steel, because if they continue to buff caster swords, it might actually be nuts. But as it stands, not so much. Let's go to Veiled Threat, the auto rifle. Now, I'm gonna be honest. The only thing that this thing has going for it is headstone, and everything else is garbage. Maybe loot, shoot to loot. Like I appreciate shoot to loot, but I don't know. Like in a Grandmaster, I would never touch this thing. And here's it. Yeah, I would never touch this thing. 720 is not the best. I think people are coping on this gun. Also, it is too goddamn big. It takes up too much of the screen time. And it's just, I don't like it visually. But overall, I think people are coping on this. They're trying to make it better than it is. Like the crate exists. And it literally has the exact same loadout. In fact, I would say it's even better because it has overflow. It has stats for all, which is just significantly better than anything in Veiled Threats. Yes, it's craftable, but hell, you could go to the vendor, a Banshee, and just get it. Also, it gets one for all, so you're getting damage. Stats for all, one for all. Vorpal, Adagio, like, and Spy Stinger may have been nerfed, but it's still really good. Also, auto-loading if you're crazy, and subsistence. But overall, if I'm going to use a 720 in any content, it's going to be crate. Veiled is just very mid. And because of that, I can't see it getting anything more than a C. I'm sorry. It's very mid. The crate is a world drop that you can farm for pretty easily. And it's better. There's nothing on the Veiled Threat that's better than the crate. Maybe the stats wise, but like if I'm using this for PvE, unless it has god tier stats like Adepts, I don't give a crap. And I also have a God Roll crate, so that's another reason. All right, let's see. What else do we have? We have Time-Worn Wayfarer Scout Rifle. A lot of people are wanting this to be good. Bungie wants this archetype to be good. When it comes to solar rifles, it's aggressive. I compare this to like 150s. There really isn't like a 150 in this slot. And it gets some interesting choices like precision instruments, incandescent, which I think people are coping. When I think Grandmaster or raids, first off, if I'm doing normal raid, I'm not using a 120. It's too goddamn slow. 2, if I'm using a Grandmaster, I'm probably not relying on incandescent. I'm probably wanting to use consistency for champions like explosive payload, kinetic tremors. These are perks that I think about that I have consistency, or give me flat damage like frenzy. Precision instrument is probably one I would rock for a Grandmaster. And 4th times. I know that's a very boring pick, but if I'm using Grandmasters and I'm plinking away, this is such a safe combination. And with the damage buff that they are getting, I think this is all right. The fun pick is obviously what everyone goes for, incandescent kill clip, but you're not really chaining kills that much. I'm sorry. Like, you have the fantasy of the rodeo, but it's all right. I'm going to give this B because it has potential for like Grandmaster uses. Even just running precision and Shootulu. I love Shootulu on Hung Jury. I think this is a great combination because you're getting a damage perk and utility in one, and it's a long range scout rifle, and they continue to buff it. So that's like a dub all the way. I'm gonna say B. I don't think it's A tier because it's still a scout rifle. There's better weapons to use. Also, I would just use Hung Jury, which feels faster, shoots faster, hits decently hard. Good range. I think for Act 1, the last one is the rocket, and it's called the Faith Keeper. I have most of these crafted, but I never play with them. I mean, I play with them and I don't care. Here's the thing. It's void. It's precision. It has good rolls. Like, you could do clown cartridge. You can do the wombo clown bipod. You can do, I mean, last impression hasn't been that great. Honestly, though, outside of like this, we have better void rockets. I'm trying to think of I've got the adept one, the Nightfall one. It's eluding me. Braid Tech. Yeah, Braid Tech. Let's just look at the Braid Tech. Like Braid Tech, Envious Assassin. with iPod, Envious Assassin. No, that's pretty much the role for me. Like, this is juiced. You can get so many shots off of Braytech, like, and you have adept mods and the better stats in general, in my opinion. Like, I'm sorry, Faithkeeper, as someone who has so many weapons, and we're talking about from a Void perspective, we have so many other rockets that fill that slot as well. Just because you use precision frames if you suck at aiming, but if you're hitting a target that doesn't move or you're okay with aiming, there's no reason to drop the damage. There's no reason to use a precision frame. I'm sorry, they got nerfed. There's no reason to use them. And because of the fact that we have a better Void rocket, and there's so many other rockets that do better damage, this is another D tier. There are better options. There's no reason to waste your time chasing these. Now, here we go with the sidearm. Now, I called this fine. I called these weapons mid, but that is based on what we have in the game. We have a sidearm rocket, and this is like the main go-to, right? There's nothing that really screams use this. I mean, In-Depth Kindness has Volt Shot. The Call has also Golden Tricorn, and I think Stats for All. Like, it has a bunch of good perks. But Volt Shot, in my opinion, for in-game content, for how easy it is to proc on a sidearm, I actually think Volt Shot is better than Incandescent. I truly do believe that Volt Shot is better than Incandescent and like Grandmasters, because you get one kill and you're just getting constant damage, whereas Incandescent, you're not going to kill the big thing. You're going to have to plink at it. And Incandescent's not going to do that much chip damage unless you're building into like a solar explosion build. Like, obviously, if you're making a build where you need Incandescent to fly with, it's okay. I mean, it has other things, but honestly, the go-to is going to be this. I'm going to put this in a reasonable slot, though, because it is good. I'm not saying it's bad, but we have two sidearm rockets that are significantly in S tier. Both In-Depth Kindness and the Call are S tier. This has to be A tier. They do not share the same level. They just don't. And I just overall, like, I use it, but it's not like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna be honest. I still like In-Depth Kindness. All right, moving on. We've got, let's see, Corrasion. Have yet crafted it, but I did have the God roll. I had this, which honestly is the God roll. There's not a single perk here I would use over this. The only reason to use this over Nullify, which is the solar raid version, the only reason to even touch it is because of Volt Shot. This is gonna be my bias. I don't like heavy bursts. Something about them just doesn't feel good. And I know they do a lot of damage, or supposedly. I just don't like how slow they are. Now, they are getting buffed in their rounds, so it's going to shoot a little faster in Revenant. But I think I like Nullify better. Like, I literally have the Adept Nullify that has this and this combined. And I know what I was talking about when I said Volt Shot is superior, but they're both slow weapons. And the reload is god-awful on both of them. Like, you have to really spec into the reload. And because of that, if I just want straight up to do damage, like Chaos Reshade is better. And it gives me healing. Like, I can stack the healing with Healing Clip and Incandescent. Whereas Nullify or Corrasion, like, the reload is just so bad. It feels so slow. Even with Unlight Action, I don't know. Like, it just, I don't know, it just feels bad. Maybe I'm under hyping this gun, but I just feel like they're better pulse rifles. I don't even use my Nullify nearly as much. I just feel like there's better pulse rifles. And to be honest, I just generally don't use the pulse rifles over like other weapons in Grandmasters. Now in general raids, sure, but I still feel like 300 is too slow. And RPM does matter when you're doing in-game content because you want to do a lot of damage, but you also don't want to take forever to kill something, like reload and shoot. Like you want to be able to blitz things down. That's why like Mida Mini Tool back in its heyday was just frying everything because it could just nuke everything fast. And that's why it was so good. I'm going to put it in B. I think it's fine, but I'd prefer Nullify, even though I did say Volt Shot is better. But honestly, I feel like Nullify has better utility with healing, with heal clip, and the fact that it can get multiple perks, and the fact that I can also get Chaos Reshaped, which is a healing perk and a damage perk. In my opinion, I'd rather run that over that. And I know elementals are a thing, but honestly, I would still probably run it over this. That's just my opinion. Get mad, I guess. Xenophage, or what it's called. Chronophage, sorry, it's called Chronophage. I'm not impressed with this. It's an upgrade from the Season of the Haunted one because it was what is it? Loot to Shoot, I think, and Repulsor Brace is the god roll on that. The only thing that's enticing about this is the stabilizer rounds and repulsor combo. But I'm gonna be 100. Trace rifles are bad. So the most I can give this is a C. It has a good like void combination. There's a lot of trace rifles and most of them are bad. Even with god rolls, I think they're very, like, I'm being generous with C in my opinion. It feels like it needs to be a D, but maybe they'll buff it. No, I'm giving it the D treatment. It's getting the D. And last but not least, we've got the Speleologist. Now this has some decent perks. It gets Enlightened Action, Heal Clip, Envious Assassin, Killing Tally, Incandescent, and also get Once for All. Do I think this is the best LMG in the game? No. Do I think we have other solar LMGs that compete? Yes. I mean, the Trials one has some juicy rolls. Like it can get Killing Tally, Subsistence, the Christmas one, Dawning one can get Subsistence Incandescent, which I have. Like, I think the best way to treat this, like people are trying to turn this into a damage roll. I think people who think this machine gun is a damage weapon is coping. Rapid fires are not good for damage. Just get that out of your head. They're just not. As much as people are so desperate to cope on that. Use this as what it's meant to be, which is to kill trash ads. And if you're using it for trash ads, I think this is a combo that's great. Honestly, I take that back because you're probably honestly better just doing no, actually, as much as I think it's stupid, Heal Clip might be better because if you're blowing your load and you're just mowing down a bunch of trash ads, I'm thinking like Grandmaster, you're just mowing things, you're causing things to blow up. Afterward, you're low on health because you're just sitting there blowing your load. You reload, you get that quick heal clip. Outside of that, I would say Stats for All because you're getting immediate handling and reload. Like, I think that's good, but I think the best way to use this LMG is 100% to use it for its utility of ad clearing. And comparing it in that sense, rapid fires just don't do as much damage. I think overall, I think it's an A. I don't think there's anything here that's S tier. I know that's gonna trigger people, but there's nothing in this catalog that's S tier. Everything here is replaceable by something else. Nullify, Wither Horde, in my opinion. I mean, any other scout rifle, the Call, In-Depth Kindness. We have so many swords. The Crate, Posterity, and so many other rockets. And trace rifles are just D tier anyways by nature. I don't know. Let me know. This has been my my brutal tier list. I don't get excited for loot. I think I was excited more for using this because it was fun. But nothing here is a S tier. Nothing's a must-have. You could skip this episode and you're okay because there's other weapons you could chase for that are able to replace them. I hope that changes in Revenant. I hope we get a little bit more. I hope we do get an S tier. I think the last time we had an S tier weapon for like a season was Scatter Signal. It was their role. This right here, oh my God. I still have this baby. It's one of the best fusions in the game. Mwah. I hope we get an S tier weapon in the Revenant. That might be me coping, but overall, this is my brutally honest review. Hit that like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. And until next time, don't forget to game out. Huzzah.